Neville Goddard, The Power of Unlimited Imagination, Chapter 9, Self-Remembering. Do you have a goal in life? An aim for yourself? If you do, start now to lift yourself to its level by the act of self-remembering. Do not try to be a better man or woman, but transcend your present level of being by being better at something. Your goal should be so important that you cannot forget it, and your hunger for its externalization so intense that you cannot and will not let the thought go until it is embodied in flesh. I mentioned the young teenager with the basketball in his driveway throwing hoop after hoop after hoop after hoop. And I mean, if you don't remember, doing something like this as a teenager, for me, it was skateboarding and just trying the trick over and over or catching the wave on surfing, catching the wave over and over and over. And nothing else was in your mind except for mastering this certain trick or this certain feat, whatever it was. But you had nothing else in your mind. If you remember back when you were a teenager doing anything or whistling. Many people can't whistle, but when out in my neighborhood, we had to whistle. Not with fingers, but with, I'd get real loud, but I don't want to. But just these kinds of things you did as a kid. You didn't say, I'm going to put in 10,000 hours. No. You just did it and did it and did it, and you knew you were going to you were already here. You were already here. And you just did it over and over and over because you wouldn't let go of it. The skateboard, the surfboard, the whistling, anything, popping a wheelie on a bike, riding backwards on a bike, on a cruiser bike, putting somebody on the seat, riding backwards with them on the seat. All these little things you did, you never had a mind to say time's involved. Time was never involved, ever. It's about becoming embodied, emotionally feeling it real. Means you're embodying it here. So the gap between you actually pulling off that thing and here gets shorter and shorter, and it's closer. It becomes closer than near. Scripture tells us, Scripture tells us many are called, but few are chosen. The word chosen means to separate, to choose, decide. Every day you are offered the opportunity to choose a new idea, to enter a new state from which to think and feel. Unnumbered emotions and thoughts are yours to call forth, but because of the aim with which you desire to be identified, only a few emotions and thoughts are chosen. Let me clean up that sentence. Every day you are offered the opportunity to choose a new idea, to enter a new state from which to think and feel. Unnumbered emotions and thoughts are yours to call forth, but because of the aim with which you desire to be identified, only a few emotions and thoughts are chosen. Which emotions and thoughts are chosen? If that teenager's throwing that ball hoop after hoop after hoop, which emotions and thoughts is he allowing in? Apparently, obviously, only the ones that fit that ball going in the hoop. That's the celebration moment. He's only seeking the celebratory moment that it actually goes in properly. And the same. And again. And again. Same with the skateboard. Throwing your skateboard and flipping it around and landing on it perfectly. And again. And again. The only emotion as you're going through this repeated exercise and to accomplish this task, the only emotion you're going to allow in is the celebration of that victory. Begin to rise within yourself by letting go of your former beliefs and restriction. We've been talking about over the last couple of videos about blocks, okay? So this is where you have to make that choice. You have to make the choice to move past the blocks. Begin to rise within yourself by letting go of your former beliefs and restrictions. Choose the thoughts and emotions, choose the thoughts and emotions you desire to express and enter your desire through the act of feeling. In the 11th chapter of Mark, 2 disciples were told, "Go into the village where you will find a colt tied at the crossroad upon which no one has sat. Loose him and bring him to me. If anyone says, 'Why are you doing this?' say, 'The Lord has need of him.'" Then he mounted the unbridled ass and rode into the city of Jerusalem. Now, the animal found at every crossroad is not a colt or an ass, but the individual's permanent, predominant emotion. Think about what was just said there. See, it's a parable. All of the book is the 66 books that make up the Bible are all parable. Here's the breakdown of Mark, the 11th chapter. The animal found at every crossroad is not a colt or an ass, but the individual, you, the individual's permanent, predominant emotion. Desiring to express a new emotion, you find it difficult to ride. Why does it not feel natural to be married? It's just difficult riding this new experience. Desiring to express a new emotion, you may find it difficult to ride. This is you trying to feel it real, something you haven't felt before. What does it feel like to have $1 million in your account? You haven't felt that before. So it's difficult to ride the horse. What does it feel like to be married and in bed and in love and coming back from your honeymoon to your new house? What does that feel like? I don't know. I haven't been through it before. Well, this animal's hard to ride because you haven't done it before, but you keep at it. You persist. But you will always find your emotions tied at the crossroads of life. If you've never felt secure before, you may not be able to ride the animal emotion of security for more than a few seconds at a time. Now, that's a starting point. If you have never felt secure before, you may not be able to ride the animal emotion of security for more than a few seconds at a time. Well, hey, you got your starting point. If you even glimpsed the moment with your new spouse, you got far because you weren't thinking about it before. You were never imagining it before, but now you got 1 second. Next morning, you got 2 seconds. Who cares? We don't even care about time intervals. The next time, 5 seconds. The next time you felt it, like for 10 seconds. This is an increase in you practicing how to ride this new animal. But the important thing is to try. For controlled imagination can ride any emotion into the city of peace, the embodiment of the ideal state. An emotion is right or wrong relative to a desire. If you feel uneasy as you commit yourself to your desire, you are walking in the wrong direction and will never reach it. Very important point. An emotion is right or wrong relative to a desire. If you feel uneasy as you commit yourself to your desire, remember you've gone in fishing, you know your desire, you've identified it. If you feel uneasy as you commit yourself to your desire, you are walking in the wrong direction because you feel uneasy. It doesn't feel natural. You're walking in the wrong direction and will never reach it. But if the feeling is natural, in parentheses, right, and you persist in your assumption, it will become a fact. At times, even when your aim feels natural, you may allow doubts to creep in and move away from your goal. When this happens, don't condemn yourself. Simply get back on that emotion and ride it again. For the beast is unbridled and must be ridden until you and it become one. I am not myself personally a horse wrangler, and I had the opportunity, thankfully, with young I want to say middle school. I had classmates, several classmates, and they all came from in our school district we had a lot of horse stables up and down where they were, and I had classmates, and I remember one, we were boyfriend and girlfriend for a little while, and she took me down over there, and I got to ride on the back of the horse with her, through her, on that property and through the stables, and it was quite exciting. But I was nowhere in control. She was in control. But the point is I can only imagine how it must feel to be on a horse where you and the horse get to the point where you become one, where they know you and you know them, and they know where you want to go before you probably even pull on the lead, on the reins. That must be quite a thing. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about getting on top of that horse and becoming one with it. That beast, if you will, is your emotion, one you haven't ridden before. What does it take to get to know that emotion and manage being in it? Being in it like riding that wild beast for the first time. Okay, first time, bucked you off. Second time, it's comfortable with you, we'll let you sit there. Third time, you get it to go a little bit. Fourth time, hey, you're starting to move a lot faster. The horse is walking. This is you riding your emotion, obviously. Fifth, sixth, seventh time, you're now trotting along pretty good. You're getting a good pace. 9, 10, 11, 12, you're moving. You're actually getting into a point where you can gallop. 13, 14, 15, 16, hey, you're trotting really good. It's comfortable. More time in the saddle now. You're being what you want to become. You've put in the effort. The being is becoming real. The feeling is becoming natural. The beast is becoming your friend. Acknowledge the feeling of importance, acknowledge the feeling of importance, of security, or of being dignified within yourself, for your consciousness is reality. What you are conscious of being right now, you are. If you desire to be other than what you are, remember the state desired is just as real as the one you are conscious of now. If you desire to be other than what you are, remember the state desired is just as real as the one you are conscious of now. What is the one you are conscious of now? All right, all that is, I am God right here, sends us out. We are self-concepts of all kinds of colors and varieties, every flavor of the rainbow, all of it, all the whole spectrum. I am, all that is, God sends us. If you desire to be other than what you are, remember, the state desired is just as real as the one you are conscious of now. What you are conscious of being right now, you are. You are conscious of being here. This is where your self-concept is today. Where you want to be is this one here. Are you conscious of that? You know the desire exists, and you already know that the desire and the self-concept exist because they're wedded, they're one. They come within you at the same time. The responsibility and the duty is yours to make the proper impression, which is just feeling it. That way, the objectification happens in your experience. The state desired is just, if you desire to be other than what you are, you're here, what you are. If you desire to be other than what you are, remember, the state desired is just as real. This is just as real, literally, as the one you are conscious of now. Enter the new state by become conscious of being it. Being it. Right here with an exclamation point. Persist. What made you ride the horse for the second time? If the first time you were completely uncomfortable, was it peer pressure? That can be a thing. Persist. Find the feeling of the new state and ride it into Jerusalem. Scripture calls upon man to remember himself by associating himself with his aim and walking in its direction. Scripture calls upon man to remember himself by associating himself with his aim and walking in its direction. Only as you discipline yourself can you embody your aim. In his 11th chapter, Mark makes this statement: whatever you desire, believe that you have received it, and you will. And whenever you stand praying, forgive. How do you fulfill a desire and forgive another? By finding the quality you thought to be in another and removing it from yourself. Then place the feeling you desire to express in its place. When this has been done, you have risen right into the state of your answered prayer. Now let's repeat that because that is profound. Only as you discipline yourself can you embody your aim. Mark makes this statement in the 11th chapter. Whatever you desire, believe that you have received it, and you will. Sounds reasonable? And whenever you stand praying, forgive. End quote. How do you fulfill a desire and forgive another? By finding the quality you thought to be in another and removing it from yourself. Then place the feeling you desire to express in its place. When this has been done, you have risen right into the state of your answered prayer. Whoa. Finding the quality you thought to be in another and removing it from yourself, then place the feeling you desire to express in its place. You wouldn't be conscious of it in another. That's why you're removing it. You couldn't be conscious of it in another if it's your aim, because it's in you you're looking through. Everything is you pushed out. When you remove that from another and place the desire within yourself in its place, the desire you want to express. Excuse me, don't let me cross wires. Remove it from the other, finding the quality you thought to be in another and removing it from yourself. You're removing it from yourself, okay? Because you thought it was in another. Then place the feeling you desire to in its place, the desire you wish to express. When this has been done, you have risen right into the state of your answered prayer. Sounds pretty tricky, doesn't it? By finding the quality you thought to be in another, remember those 3 fingers right there, and removing it from yourself, because you're looking through yourself. Everything is you pushed out. You thought it was in the other, but you're going to remove it from yourself, and in its place, place the desire of the thing you want to be in its place. Prayer is conditioned upon the belief that it is already answered. Desire is your springboard. Standing upon your desired state, you may discover that the board wobbles or the ground sways beneath your feet. But if you persist in being conscious of having attained your desire, even though your reason and outer senses deny it, what you are conscious of will become your reality. Tonight, form a lovely aim for yourself and feel its fulfillment. Associate yourself with that feeling by becoming conscious of it. Do that and you will bless and be blessed by God, who is your very self. Can you imagine how 3 little sentences could say so much? Tonight, form a lovely aim for yourself and feel its fulfillment. Associate yourself with that feeling by becoming conscious of it. Do that and you will bless and be blessed by God, who is your very self. Say to yourself, I and my Father are one. Your inner being is he whom men call God. Your inner being is he whom men call God. He is never so far off as even to be near, for he is your own wonderful human consciousness. Your own wonderful human consciousness. And all things, when admitted into your consciousness, are made manifest by its light. But something must be admitted first. If you are conscious of being beaten, the thought will manifest itself and you will be. You will be. Now think about what we've gone over in the last couple sessions about these blocks that we can have. If you are conscious of being beaten, the thought will manifest itself and you will be. Remember the responsibility level we're talking about within this work. We create our own reality, which says you are creating your own reality. Do you feel insecure? If you do, persist in that mood and you will sink into its slums, for everything manifested is consciousness externalized. What thought dominates your mind right now? Regardless of what it is, you have consented to it, but you need not perpetuate it. The thought that enters your mind, the thought that enters the mind does not defile you. Okay, let's repeat this because this is a very important point, and there's a pacing. What thought dominates your mind right now? You can instantly sense it because it's there already. Regardless of what it is, you have consented to it. But you need not perpetuate it. The thought that enters the mind does not defile you. You may consent to any thought, but I'm going to go ahead and add a word or two here because it looks like they were left out of the sentence. You may consent to any thought. Oh, excuse me. No, it was me reading it wrong. You may consent to any thought, be it one that defiles or blesses you when it goes forth. You may consent to any thought, be it one that defiles or blesses you when it goes forth. But every thought will be made manifest. You are so powerful. Get the idea of how powerful you are, if anything, throughout all of these videos and this material. You are extremely powerful. You're already so good at the law. You've been doing this so well. You're already here. You can't be here. You can't be there if you weren't so good at it. You literally are very, very good at this. Consistently. You may consent to any thought, be it one that defiles or blesses. But every thought will be made manifest. Every thought of your self-concept. If these are not pretty thoughts in this self-concept and you're trying to get to this self-concept, you understand that every thought you're working with here, you're consenting to. Who's going to change them for you? Any answers? The state in which you presently reside was only a thought before you entered it. Where you are currently right now was only a thought before you entered it from this state. This state, that state was a thought. But you definitely entered that. And before this state, you were here. And then you became here. Now you're here. And now you realize what desire means inside of you. And you've done your fishing. You've done your hunting. You now know what you want to express in your reality. Doesn't matter what that is. You want to be happy in love and married? Boom, no problem. Here it comes. You want to be wealthy on top of your money, finances and management of your money and your life and your family? Boom, here it comes. The thought will be made, every thought will be made manifest. It doesn't matter what your limitations are in your current self-concept. Every thought, that's why every single thought matters when you're trying to impress your subconscious. Every single thought matters. You cannot afford, no pun on the wealth business, you cannot afford negative thoughts, defiling thoughts. You can't afford it. You have to understand what you have been busy with has kept you here. You've been busy like a bee and participating in things out here that have kept you right here. You've done that. Your awareness has done that. Your consenting to those certain thoughts has been your permission to be where you are. Now you're aware of all this. Now you want to change? No problem. It was just thoughts that got you there in the first place. You were over here and thoughts got you here. Now you feel stuck here. No problem. Hey, man, there's a law that covers this. All you have to do is change your thinking, making different impressions into your subconscious over and over and over and over and over and over. Boom, bam, you're there. Detachment, you experience it. You're in the new self-concept. Sounds easy. You've been doing it already, so that means it is easy. You have already been doing it. The state in which you presently reside was only a thought before you entered it. It just as is the state you now desire, and it can just as easily be realized. Take the challenge. Formulate your aim and rise in consciousness to its fulfillment. Think it is real, and it is. For everything is possible to a thought. Everything is possible to a thought. A thought is no respecter of persons. A thought is not judging why it's there. A thought wants to move towards the assumption because a thought is your tool. It's your tool. You have the tools. I have the tools. We have the tools. We were given the tools right upon conception. The conceived and the conceiver are one. The conceiver is greater than the conception. The conceiver and the conception are one. The conceiver is greater than the conception. You were given the tools of the conceiver. He created you in his image. The conceiver and the conception are one. You're the conception, you have the same tools. Every thought becomes a thing in your world, in your experience, in your reality. Who's going to put a bridle on those thoughts? No one's coming to do it for you. You need to get the reins in your control and start putting the proper thoughts in the places because you have a desire and you know where it's going to lead you. You need to take hold of the reins and get them in control to achieve this desire. But only you can do that. Isn't it wonderful to hear somebody tell you that? Oh boy, now what do I got to do? Oh boy, all these random things going on in my head. What are you talking? What do you mean? All these, this isn't normal? Yes, it is actually perfectly normal because everybody has thoughts and everybody's thoughts get them to where they are. If you don't like where you are, you can just change the thoughts. The output follows the input. Garbage in, garbage out, like the old saying of computers. Garbage in, garbage out. If you see garbage and you're in the mire and the muck, you need to change the thoughts. You're the one consenting to what you're thinking. Now, simply put, these thoughts come flying in like, where the hell are they coming from? Who knows? Who cares? But you have to take control of them. You have to get in charge of them. No, wait, hold on. Third grade, something's coming in from the school days? No, forget. Boom, out of here. Nope, I'm focused on this. I ain't focused on my desire. That ball's going in the hoop. That ball's going in the hoop. I don't care about that thought coming at me from this side. Boom, nope. That ball's going in the hoop. Get back to the task. Get back to the desire. Get back to the objective. That ball's going in the hoop. Shoot again. Shoot again. Shoot again. Shoot again. Keep shooting. Keep shooting. Oh, more thoughts coming in? Oh, someone's calling me in for dinner? Hold on, I got this. I have 5 more minutes. That ball's going in the hoop. That ball's going in the hoop. What is your desire? Give consent to the new thoughts that are trying to be there for you. Those new thoughts are trying to get to the assumption so they can help support making it real. This is how you work. Don't forget, those thoughts got you where you are. So there's no reason to deny thoughts, but just ignore ones that don't fit with you and your objective and your desire. Those thoughts that are flying in from who knows where and they're not doing you any good and they're not helping you with your objective, those are because they exist around the present self-concept. This present self-concept has those thought patterns around it. When you change your self-concept and you're fulfilling your desire and getting over here, there's clouds of thoughts that exist here. And these ones will seem like a long ago memory. They won't matter. They won't even have meaning anymore. You change that self-concept, these new thought patterns are completely different. And these ones will seem like dust. And you'll be glad to leave them. You will be glad. Self-remembering is remembering your aim. So in the course of a day, you should ask yourself where you are psychologically. Your reality lives in a psychological country where you can walk in the mire, the valley, or the mountaintops. Choose this day the state you desire to enter. Feel its mood and acknowledge its fulfillment. Walk faithful to that assumption, and although your reason and your senses deny it, your persistence will cause it to become a fact. Life will become easier when you are brutally frank with yourself and acknowledge your reactions to that which was created by you and is being reflected to you. Resolve to react only in a positive manner. That's very, very big and very, very important. Positive thoughts produce positive effects. End of chapter. That last bit is my immediate favorite part of this chapter. Resolve to react only in a positive manner. What's that going to do for you? Positive thoughts produce positive effects. I said in the last video about maybe someone else is having these wonderful experiences and you might be jealous. You're in celebration. If you're jealous of them creating their reality and making it better, that's not, if you're jealous, you're in the wrong place with your thoughts. And that's why you're here. So you need to change those thoughts of celebration. You're being in celebratory attitude towards your neighbor, having improved their life, means you start to make the impression that you know it's possible for you too. Now, if you resent other people's successes, that's going to keep you right here. And that's the world with this loop keeping you put right here. You might have this desire, you might have a dream about it, you might make vision boards, you might make affirmations, you might affirm all the live long day and night, affirm. But you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to move. The needle's not going to move. You have to change your reactions to the positive, meaning, okay, my ex isn't calling me back. I love you, thank you. Thank you for being my ex. That's okay, everything's fine. Bye. And emotionally, you want the phone call, but you have to resolve to react only in a positive manner. If somebody's expecting a phone call about a new job or something like that, hey, other people are busy. They're going to get back to you. That's a positive manner. If you're expecting the results from the doctor to be negative or positive, you need to see them positive if, in fact, you want them to be positive. If you're going to sit there and expect them to be negative, because that's what you're doing with your thoughts, and you're reacting to with negative emotion, and you're infusing that with the negative emotion, negative thoughts produce negative effects. I just changed the sentence. Negative thoughts produce negative effects, but the sentence is actually the same on the opposite. Positive thoughts produce positive effects. The doctor's going to come in with a wonderful diagnosis. Everything, I'm completely good to go. Excellent bill of health. The doctor always tells me good news. Huh? How about that belief? How about that as a set of thoughts? I only ever hear good news from my doctor. My car is always in great shape. This car runs so great. I love you, car, while you touch the dashboard, while you're going to the car wash. I love this car. It's such a strong car. Never fails me. Never leaves me stranded. What kind of what kind of disposition do you have? It's time to change that disposition. That disposition being one of negativity is why you're in this place. For the other side of the crowd, the disposition of you being in a positive place and you just want to elevate, hey, you know how you got here. Now you know the fuel how to get to the next one. So practice. I only ever hear good news. That's all I ever hear. All I ever hear is good news. Everything else is junk. Junk mail. What do you do with the junk mail? Your thoughts come into your head just like the junk mail and the valid mail hits your mailbox. There's stuff that matters and there's stuff that doesn't. The stuff that doesn't, what do you do with it? Straight into the bin, straight into the trash can. Out of sight, out of mind. You're not going to sit there and open things that don't matter to you, that are not going to help you, that don't make a difference in you whatsoever. So then why would you spend time here entertaining thoughts that don't make a difference, that don't help you? They're distractions, in fact. They're never going to matter, but you're going to spin wheels over these things. Stop it. Done. That habit's gone now. I only let in thoughts that matter to me and my desire, my objective goal, my new self-concept. The only thoughts, the only mail, the only people, the only statements I hear are only those that get me to the station. You wouldn't take a train the other direction. If you're going uptown, you wouldn't take a train downtown. It doesn't make any sense. So that don't be distracted by your thoughts. Your thoughts are a cloud around your current self-concept. If your current self-concept is the place you want to be and you love, don't worry about it. Switch off this video, switch off my channel. We're not talking to you. If, in fact, you do want to change self-concepts and this one is not the one that's comfortable to you and you want to go to another place, this is the right channel, this is the right video. Understand that that cloud around this self-concept is full of thoughts that match it. They, entertained by your consent and your mind, are keeping you right here. But if you want to change into this self-concept, you've got to let go of these thoughts, push them to the side, and force yourself into these thoughts, these new ones that match the new self-concept. Are you happy in love and married? All men are. Although you don't think that here, you start weaving that into your consciousness here. All men are loving, caring, and nurturing, because that is the type of thinking I have when I'm married here and I'm happy here. All men are loving, caring, nurturing. All women are loving, caring, nurturing. You can only ride one horse, since we're on that subject in this video, which is a good one. You can't put your leg over this horse and your other leg over that horse. Your old self-concept and your new concepts can't be occupied at the same time. Same way you only have one master. You can't have this as a master and this as a master. You can operate here in the world, but you're not of it. And you know that, and you're conscious of that. You can only ride one horse. If you're riding this horse and you like it and you're in love with it and there's nothing that needs to change, no worries, man. You're not trying to change. You're not looking at videos like this. You don't even care about Neville. But if you're a little bit dissatisfied with your current self-concept and you want to change it, which, of course, remembering, all of us are here to consistently be in ascending. We're always trying to ascend. If you're at a job and you want to make more money, you're trying to ascend. If you want a promotion at your work, you want to ascend. If you're single and you want to be married, that is an ascension. You want to ascend. You're sick and you want to be healthy, any kind of sickness. You want to replace your knee, you want to replace your toe, you want to fix your back, whatever. That's trying to ascend. You're always trying to improve. But it's your thoughts that have kept you in the place you are. So this can work for you after all. Getting down this law and understanding how to use it and using it, actually putting it to use, is gonna change your world, man. Everything's gonna upgrade around you, including yourself. Everything's gonna be amazing. Postscript. As you see your world differently, your consciousness changes, thereby changing future events. I like that. You, all imagination, are the sum total of your reactions to life. This is the only cause and explanation of the events you encounter. If you do not like your world, change your reaction to it. It's a major piece of what I was just discussing. If you do not like your world, change your reactions to it. Your reactions are part of that cloud of thoughts that go with this world. Change your reactions will automatically put you over here because you'll be positive. End of chapter 9. What another good one. Self-remembering. All right, we'll see you in the next chapter.